You ready? You got me running, you got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake that. Raise your hands up, raise them out.
All right, hi everyone, and welcome to today's currency call. It is Tuesday, the 9th of November as well, and I hope everyone had a good session yesterday as well. So if you are watching the live call right now, it's just past 11 a.m. GMT plus 8. Thanks for joining us again as well. And if you are watching this delayed telecast on YouTube a little bit later in the day, just a quick introduction to anyone that is new as well. So this is the daily currency call presented by Forex Trading Asia. It's episode 414, and the currencies we analyze are as follows. So Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 8, we start the week off with the Aussie and Kiwi on Monday. Tuesdays, we do the Euro. Wednesdays, we do the Pound. Thursdays, Yen and Gold. And then Fridays, we do CAD and cryptocurrency. And in the currency calls, we will present the market economic updates, the key support and resistance levels, trade ideas, and much more. This currency call is going to be very beneficial to both the long-term investors and the short-term traders. And here we will go through what could move prices, the possible trade ideas, and we'll also highlight the stop loss positions and also the take profit positions. Now, a disclaimer as well, any information shared during this session is not intended to be a trade recommendation. It is solely the opinion and views of the speaker. So please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. Now, just to start things off here, guys, I will go through the US dollar index just to see how it went last night. And I'll just discuss the news events as well that did take place yesterday, which, wasn't a lot, but we do have a little bit coming up today. And also on Wednesday as well, we do have a little bit to talk about. So just a quick touch on the chart here now. We are currently approaching 94 flat. And, really, we haven't seen a lot of catalysts to, push the US dollar either way here of 94. And how I look at it, it's very much a bit of a zone around here. And we've seen that if we do get some news that's not so favorable, we've seen it sold off, and it really does respect the low 93 level. And then 94, in fact, 94.60 was tested recently in the lead up to
Sorry.
the day that we did see NFP come out. We had some front running of that, and we have had some discussions in the trading chat as well, which I think there's a lot of valid points, but it's just been very challenging trading conditions as well. So that's something that I would say to pay attention to. If you do see something taking place, sometimes it's best if it is meeting the criteria, you take the trade, and then you be conservative with the profit taking as well, especially in markets that are a little bit choppy as well. It's just sometimes important to go, okay, it's run a little bit, and it's best not to be too greedy when markets are a little bit unsteady, which is what we've been seeing here. I'll just now touch upon the news as well. And we'll go to the economic calendar with Forex Trading Asia. And there's a little bit going on for today. Yesterday, we did have unexpectedly, later in the day, this did pop up with Jerome Powell speaking at 11:30 last night, GMT plus 8. But again, very stale in regards to how the market reacted. And we saw the situation last night, Tesla sold off a little bit. So that did affect the S&P 500 just because of how large Tesla is. So we saw pretty flat equity session as well. So there was really nothing much going on. Now, later today, we do have the core PPIs coming out. We've got the PPI month on month for October. And The main thing to look out for is that we do have, for the US, we've got the 9:30 in the evening GMT plus 8. We've got CPI month on month, 0.6% expected. This was touched upon yesterday with Jin as well. So in this situation, there wasn't a lot of activity last night. So that's, simply put, a good time to be out of the market and not sort of chasing trades when there's nothing there. So this is going to be a catalyst to just see if we can get a push either side of this 94 level, if we can get a bit more movement either below it, or if we do see a higher than expected number, or even in line with expectations, that will help maintain 94 flat at least, and then we might see a little bit more buying going on here. So just back to the chart finally as well, and just something really to watch out for with this point. So right now, there's no real trades that are taking place here. I would just say, even tonight with that PPI, that could be something that might offer, 20 points or so either way of this 94, but probably not likely. You just want to be watching those other currencies. And we talked about the Aussie dollar yesterday. We do need to see it below 73.90, even 73.88 before selling can take place there. So I haven't seen that. So I would just say being on the sidelines is okay for now until we get a good looking opportunity that comes up. Now, I do see there's something in the chat as well. All right, no questions. So I'll just stop sharing that now. Now, we do have Kim Hong, no real major news events to discuss. He did go into the FOMC. Make sure you check out the articles that he does share and that Jin does share. We do put that up on Forex Trading Asia, but we've got a trade idea here with Kim Hong. You're up next, weren't you, Kim Hong? And then Jin to finish with the euro.
Yep.
All right, beautiful. Over to you, Kim.
All right, thank you, Scott. It's been a long time since I last shared a trade idea. Gosh, this week I'll be sharing tons of trade ideas. I mean, given the low amount of news that we have this week. Okay, so this trade idea is AUDCAD. Upcoming Canadian jobs report may provide a clear trading direction. Okay, so basically the motivation behind this trade idea is the consolidation of the AUDCAD. All right. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to jump straight into the chart. It will be easier that way. Okay. So over here, you can see that this purple region over here. All right. So AUDCAD has been ranging within some 80 pips. Okay, for like 1 week or so. All right. Then I think it was the Canadian employment data release. Okay, so I was actually waiting for the Canadian data to be released in order to to see if there's any clear direction. Right, so there's a possibility that the AUDCAD may actually break out of the consolidation zone. All right, hence presenting us with trading opportunities. Okay, so which is why this is actually a buy stop and sell stop kind of trade. Okay, or many would call it a straddle. All right, so I actually have a buy stop order at 0.924. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys can see it clearly. This green line over here that says entry over here. Okay, on the left side of the line, and then the sell stop order is actually at 0.908, which is this light blue solid line over here, horizontal solid line over here. Okay, and the Canadian employment figure when it was released, okay, was very strong. Okay, it was very strong, leading to the strengthening of the Canadian dollar and then pushing the AUDCAD downwards. Okay, however, it wasn't strong enough. Okay, so you can see over here, it wasn't strong enough to actually trigger my sell stop order, all right, at 0.9080, okay? And then it starts going back up, okay? So for probably like a week or so, this trade idea wasn't triggered, okay? And eventually it bounced back up. I think it was quite low though, like, it's actually quite low. So if we were to look at weekly chart, okay, apologize for all this mess. Okay, if you look at the weekly chart, it was actually trading at probably like a 1-year low, because the last time it was trading at this level was like back in back in May 2020. Yeah, May 24th, 2020. All right. So it's like some 1.5 year what do you call it? Low. Okay. So, you know, if you want to push prices lower, okay, knowing that it has been like, you know, the last time it's been trading it was like quite some time back, then you really need a strong, you know, catalyst. You must have strong conviction, okay, before you can push it down. So apparently the Canadian employment data wasn't strong enough to actually push Aussie CAD lower, okay, and then it just bounced back up, and eventually it actually hit my buy stop order. All right, so okay, good. I mean, if it's not strong enough to push it any lower, then we might as well look for a reversal, right? Knowing that it has been trending so strong, you know, from the start of like the year. Let me see. Yeah, from the start of the year. You can see over here, it's the start of February, all right? Start of February, all the way down to like some 800 over pips decline, all right? So yep, the buy stop order got triggered, okay, and it was going on well, okay, it was going well, and then, you know, I think around it was on the day itself, all right, it was on the day itself that there is the Bank of Canada monetary policy meeting, all right, and like I mentioned many times already, it's usually safe to actually close your trade before any major news announcements, okay, especially monetary policy announcements coming out from central banks, especially, okay, when we are actually expecting, you know, central banks to carry out changes, right? So over here at the blue, light blue candle over here, and light blue arrow over here, you can see that there is a arrow, okay? So this was the day that the Bank of Canada announced its monetary policy decision, okay? So we were, okay, actually expecting a tapering of 1 billion Canadian dollars per week of QE tapering, okay, from the Bank of Canada. However, okay, they actually surprised the market by, you know, putting the tapering to a complete halt, okay? The remaining 2 billion Canadian dollars worth of bond tapering, you know, it's very, very good news coming out from the very, very hawkish news, okay, coming out from the Bank of Canada. So it actually weakens, well, thank goodness I closed the trade for prior to the meeting, okay, for some, how much is it, 80 pips? Yeah, for 80 pips, as indicated by this horizontal golden line over here. That was the level that I actually closed my trade at, all right? And also I sent out a, what do you call it? An announcement to say that, you know, we should actually close it prior to the meeting, okay? So we actually weakened the Aussie CAD, but for the day itself, you can see, you know, for those who trade candlestick patterns, okay, you can see that this is long-legged doji, okay, or however you want to call it, okay? So basically there's like long upper shadow and long lower shadow and a small body, okay, for the candle, okay? This usually implies indecisiveness, you know, not sure where to trade the instrument towards, right, up or down. So there's no clear direction, okay? But then, you know, for next 2 or 3 days, you know, 2 days, you know, you can see that Aussie CAD tried to trade higher, okay, but it didn't, right? And it just like float below my, you know, the level that I closed for the 80 pips profit, all right? And then comes the new month, okay, the month of November, where we actually have the Reserve Bank of Australia's monetary policy decision, all right? And we already know that the RBA, okay, ended its yield curve control, but it was actually sort of like expected, right? So like I mentioned, like I've covered during the RBA summary of what went down, okay, that day, few days before the RBA's meeting, okay, the market was actually already expecting the central bank, RBA, to end its yield curve control, okay? So, you know, the Australian dollar was actually strengthening against the other major currencies, including the Aussie CAD as well. Including the Canadian dollar as well. Okay, hence you can see that it's trying to push higher Aussie CAD, and then when the day comes, when the actual announcement was made, yield curve control is being ended, we see a strong selling off of the Australian dollar. Okay, some might say that it has been priced in. Personally, yeah, I feel that it has already been priced in. Given the strong strengthening in the Australian dollar, okay, prior to the days or couple of weeks prior to the actual meeting, okay. So overall, I would say that I was thankful. I'm actually thankful that I closed this trade, right? So this actually, I would say that this trade idea actually shows, well, now that we are on high sides, right? It actually shows how monetary policy can actually reverse a trade. All right. So if I were not to close this trade for my profit, okay, at the moment I'll be losing some 30 pips. Okay. So Aussie CAD may not go down further. It may eventually hit higher because of whatever reason and things like that. But it's going to be at least it's going to be quite some time before we see that happening. Okay. So yeah, I think the main point that I want to bring out here is, once again, it's clear, okay, that whenever there's any upcoming major news releases like monetary policy decisions or NFP, US NFP, or any political announcements and things like that, okay, which can actually lead to a change in fundamentals, okay, hence a change in price directions, okay, like in this case, okay, this is actually a positive example, right? Then, it's better to just close our trade for profits rather than waiting for my, 140 pips TP to be hit, which may take another month or so, all right? Yes, no doubt this is actually a longer term trade, all right? But, I mean, it may actually take a few more months to, for my TP to be hit, right? So it's a bit of I would say, juggling from time to time as to whether or not, you want to close, you should close your trade for whatever profit that you have at that moment, all right? Instead of holding it and risk losing your profits and even hitting your stop loss, okay? So this week I'll be going through a couple more trade ideas that the next one that I'll be sharing probably tomorrow, okay, will actually show you, more of this kind of situations whereby I actually close it for smaller amount of profits, just not to risk my trade hitting the stop loss level. Okay, with that, I've come to the end of my sharing. I will hand it back to Scott.
All right, thanks for that, Gimme. And again, guys, the article will be shared as well in Gim Hong's got his own trade ideas section as well. So make sure you check that out. If you do get into a trade, there is management of the trade discussed as well. For example, this Aussie CAD trade as well in the lead up to the news event and why it was closed and things of that nature is discussed. So it is Tuesday, and that does mean Euro pairs are in focus for today. We've got the reminders in, so we've got got 30. That's good. We've got students that are attentive, so that is excellent. But just in the next segment, we do have Jin discussing the Euro pairs and the news to focus on as well with that. So over to you now, Jin.
All right, thanks for that, Scott. Looking at the euro dollar, well, I'm actually a little bit distracted right now. I'm just going to show you why I'm a bit distracted. Currently looking at the US yen, the last 4 hours in this current 4-hour candle has already dropped close to 40 pips. I was just scrolling through, reading the news, trying to figure out why is it dropping that much. No real news at this point. We've seen that also happening on the euro yen and also the pound yen. So if you are trading, we're not talking about the yen pairs today, but if you are trading, look out for the yen pairs. Might have some good opportunities, but it is approaching some support level on the US yen and the euro yen. I think as an addition, I think the pound yen looks like something quite interesting to look towards. But with the focus on the euro dollar, looking at the news here on Forex Trading Asia.com economic calendar, today being Tuesday, We do have a lot of Euro news to be released, but what you want to figure out, or what you should be figuring out now, is that a lot of the Eurozone news or data being released does not move prices too significantly. There are things that you specifically want to pay attention to and some things that you can just ignore. Example, like today's Eurozone data to be released, the German current conditions was to 21.6, expected 18. German economic sentiments looking to go from a 22.3 to a 20. We might see that drop. We do see that probably coming in about 20 or maybe even a lower number here for the economic sentiment, given that they are starting getting a bit more worried about the next phase of the COVID cases. So things to pay attention to there. I think that we might see some bad number, but this is probably not going to move prices too significantly. It might drop, but it's not going to move prices too significantly. Later tonight, we do have President Lagarde speaking. Usually a lot more volatility, but I think no real direction at this point. On Wednesday, we do have more Eurozone members speaking, but again, not going to move prices too much. These are not big price drivers. On Thursday, again, Euro ECB forecast at 6 o'clock. And then on Friday, you have some Eurozone data to be released again, but these are not ones that I pay big or particular attention to. So this actually makes the trading a little bit more straightforward. What you can do is just pay attention to the technical levels, pay attention to what's happening on the charts, knowing that there's not going to be a lot of economic releases that could push prices in either direction. So looking at the euro dollar here on the H4 time frame, currently sitting at this 1.1586 level, right? Sitting at this 1.1586 level, I think that it would be interesting if it resisted. If 1.16 doesn't break above, we've seen it test twice already. We've seen it test lower, but still sitting at this point. What I anticipate for the euro dollar here is possibly is going to sit across a little bit more and then turn back down towards that 1.1530. So what you could be looking for, it might not even sit across that much, but I think it's consolidate a little bit before dropping. What you could be looking for is a 1.1580 to be a lot safer, 1.1580, a 30 pip stop loss for a 50 pip take profit level towards the downside. Not quite that 1:2 risk reward ratio, but I'm looking for this as a safe trade. On the alternative, like what could happen last week was we saw it test above and then test back down again. It might be well so that it would test above this 1.16 before turning down. I think likely scenario is for it to sit across before turning back down. With that said about the euro dollar, the euro pound, the last time I spoke about it, I was likely expecting it to break below, to reject that 84.97 level, to reach 84.62 and to break below. It didn't do that, so it just hit that 84.62 and stopped. It went straight up because of how the pound dollar was doing and also slightly because of the euro dollar. At this point, I feel that we might see it sit across because of that lack of economic data release or real drivers from the news. I think that we might see it sit across. Again, sit across. But in this case, I think that it might bounce back up. Given that it's formed that base, we see that upward move right now. I think that we might see it go up, especially given that, if we talk about the pound dollar tomorrow, if it rejects that 1.3584 level, we might see it turn down. If that does turn down, then we could see it push the euro pound towards the upside. So what you could be looking for in terms of the euro pound is the buying opportunity at 8549 or 8550. Very tight stop loss of 15 pips, a good take profit of about 30 pips or 40 pips, a 1:2 risk reward ratio towards the upside, back up towards that 85.90 resistance level that we saw late last week and early this week. So quite simply, that's the euro dollar and the euro pound. Just want to do a quick recap on the Aussie dollar that we spoke about yesterday. It has tested above that 73.95 level. What I'm looking for, and I'm stalking this, watching it closely, is for it to break below that 73.95, close below that point. That selling opportunity is still there, 73.85, very tight, 20 pip stop loss for a good 50, 60 pip take profit level towards the downside. So straightforward trading here, looking at not a lot of news, looking at the technical side of things. Keep your trades a bit more short term. We are in a relatively tight support and resistance levels. So don't try gunning for the big trades. Look to realize your profits quickly. And with that, I'll pass it back to you, Scott.
Thanks, Jen. And I have shared the trade ideas as well in the euro pound discussion section too. So just going through, no questions here, but again, guys, just show a bit of caution as well. And everyone is in the chat as well, ready to help if there's questions or if there's any chart analysis as well. The crypto market is moving a little bit as well. So I posted a couple of charts there yesterday. So feel free to go in there if you are looking to learn a little more or trade, obviously with small size if you're beginning, very small size. But that is the episode for Tuesday. Thanks for joining us again, guys, and looking forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. And obviously for the Wednesday night call as well, could be some activity with inflation data coming out. So that is it. Thanks for watching and have a good session, everyone. Bye for now.